Hey everybody, I'm Sarah, Lonesome Glory, and it is almost time for Breyer Midwest. I'm going to be showing at the BreyerMidWest Open Show, which is this Friday, and Mom is going to be there with me. We are also going to be selling in the swap meet at BreyerMidWest. We're doing the Pineapple Room outlet, so make sure you swing by for some good deals and some fun. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've got some horses I'm looking to trade for. So swing by and say hey. We are going to have bracelets that we've been making, and we're just looking forward to having like a little mini Breyer Fest. Today's video, I'm going to kind of show you how I got ready for BreyerMidWest. It's a little different than getting ready for my local shows around here. Breyer requires that you do a horse list, letting them know what your horse's name is and all the information and what division they'll be showing in. And you have to turn that in early, so by the time you guys are seeing this, I've already turned it in probably a week or more ago. You also have to have tags. You put little hang tags like price tags on the horses instead of the 3x5 cards. The horses get an ID number, which is also different. That comes from that list. So I'll kind of show you all the different things that I do instead of kind of my normal getting ready. And you can see kind of a sneak peek of what I'm going to be bringing to show. I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't showed a Breyer show in years. I just don't have time for Breyer Fest Live, so I haven't made it to one. So this is going to be great. There's a lot of my friends going to be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you as can come as possible. So let's talk about how to get started for a Breyer show. The first thing that I do when I get started getting ready for a show is to check out the show packet, which will have all of the information about how they're going to judge and what divisions they have, and perhaps most importantly, a class list. So given that this show is a little different, I don't go straight through the class list to find horses. I am going to start off with picking horses that I know I want to bring, adding them to their registration form here, and then deciding what class they are entered in. Just to make sure that I don't go over the total number of horses I'm allowed to bring, I went ahead and numbered this practice registration form 1 through 50. I'll still have to do like they did on this top example row and fill everything out. But for today, all I'm trying to do is figure out which 50 horses are going and make sure that I get a description under name for what the animal is. At which point I will get on the computer and actually type this up all pretty to send into the show manager. I decided to start looking for what horses I want to bring down here in my study. And this is the shelf where I keep raffle models. So I know I want to bring the Wyatt, the Smarty Jones, and the Bristol for sure. So since I know I want to bring those three, I'm going to go ahead and write down descriptions of them in the first 3 boxes. So I'm going to have the raffle Wyatt, the raffle Smarty, and raffle Bristol. I have showed all of these before. They do have show names. I just can't recall what they are, so I give myself a description and add that later on. Yeah, are you helpful? Are you helping me pick out horses? Khaleesi? Are you just being loud for the sake of being loud? Yeah. Yes. You're being very loud. Yeah. Did you need some film time? Did you just want everyone to admire you and how pretty you are? Yeah, you're a good girl. Now that I know which horses I'm interested in bringing, I take my handwritten list and convert it into a working list, something that'll help me remember what horses I want to bring and will allow me to prepare for the full list that is required for BreyerMidWest. So here you can see me filling in the information that I wrote down on the form I showed you earlier. And I'm just putting in the description of the model and the basic information to start. I'll fill it in more as I go along. Once I have the handwritten list completely typed into a working list, I'll go through and fill out as much of the information as I can just to start with. So first thing I'm doing here is filling out the names of the horses that I remember off the top of my head. Any of them that I don't remember, I'll go back and check past show lists and past NAN cards and figure out what the name of the model is. After I filled out the rest of the information, as you can see, I went through and found out what class each of the horses should be in. Now this is a separate list that is wholly based on the one I just made, but this one allows me to add the collectability info for each horse. I will use that information partially to help me remember which horse is which, but also to give me what I need in order to make breed cards or collectability cards for the horses later on. Now that I have all of the classes entered in, I'm going to go through and highlight classes that I've got more than one horse in. Because this show is limited by the number of total models and not the models per class, this isn't an issue. I could show as many horses as I wanted per class. But I want to bring a variety and show in many different classes, so I will highlight the ones that I think I should replace with a different horse. And then when I get done on the computer, I'll go look at the shelves again and make some decisions. We're finally getting close to being done with the computer work. As you can see, I've got a split screen. One side shows my working list, which is what you guys have seen me produce through the rest of these clips. The other side, and the one that I'm filling in, is the official list that gets sent in to the show holder prior to the event, and they will use that to make sure that they have the correct horse name and the correct info for the horses when they're doing show results. So as you can see, I'm just typing the information in from one to the other. I am very specifically not using copy and paste because I want to make sure that I double check every line and get it right. And as you'll see later, I still managed to make some mistakes, but nothing too terrible. Now that I have the full list finished, I'll work on making some breed cards and collectability cards. I decided to make some kind of fun ones for this, but breed cards and collectability cards can be very simple or very detailed. It just comes down to personal preference. Mom and I packed virtually everything together off camera. We were just trying to get things done quickly. So I thought I would show you what I meant by the tag system with my buffalo, which is attached to a sign I know you guys can't see right now. So on one side of the tag, you put the horses, or the creatures, I should say. On one side of the tag, you put the identification number for the entrant and the number for the model. You put their breed and you put their sex. And then on the back, you can do whatever you want because they won't get flipped over. So this one, I went ahead and put the name that I have assigned to my buffalo and the division that he's showing in, as well as the class number. Once all of this is together, I'm just gonna attach the tag to his back leg here. And that is that. He is ready to get packed up and go. So this one that you see here with all the lovely orange markings, this is the working list that Mom and I were using to pack. You can see the ones where we either didn't have them or they were on a different level of the house. Mostly we packed upstairs, these were downstairs. You can also see where I've made some notes about changing out horses, where a horse that's been marked as an alternate is actually going. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have my official list that should be very final. I'll have to make some changes with the show holder when I get there, but that is what it is. But these that are bold are ones where I either swapped out a horse or I made some kind of a mistake. For instance, this one here, which is one of my favorite named horses, Grateful Stripper, is actually an Australian stock horse on my original list, and therefore on my tag, I had her down as a quarter horse. So I get to make a new tag for her to put on when I get there since she's already in a box. I thought I'd go through writing up just one of these tags so you can kind of see what all the information was that I was talking about earlier. So I have my tag here. I'm looking at this horse, which was a full substitution and needs a new tag. It is my entrant number and then the horse number. The breed has to go on there. And the gender of the horse, the sex of the horse. And then on the back here, I'm hopefully still in front of the camera, I'm going to write down the horse's name. And then the class that they're in. Now, the class isn't on this list. Breyer doesn't require that. It is on my master list over here. So I'm going to write down the division that it's in, which is an original finish special run. And then the class is going to be number 116. All right, so I'll put that aside to go in my show box and put on the horse when I get there. With the tags all written up, I have stacked them up and set them aside next to the emergency auxiliary tags that will go in my show box, which is where I'm going to put all of the things I have to have for a show, stuff to clean the horses with, the extra tags, pins, all that kind of fun stuff. The show box is also going to have my full list here, as well as my working list. I've got a copy of the show packet, and then I have a folder here for some of the rare horses that has their certificates of authenticity. So that way they're all there together where I can find them in a nice little envelope. Okay, well that's everything packed and ready to go. The boxes will get loaded in the van just before we leave, and we're gonna head out. Salina is 4.5-ish hours from here, so we're gonna leave on Thursday. We'll be there for the show on Friday, the swap meet on Saturday. Hopefully I'll get to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, for commenting. Let me know which of the BreyerFest horses you are most excited to see in person at BreyerMidWest down in the comments. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, Khaleesi. She's jumped on my chair now. Hi. What you doing? Are you going to be helpful? No, you're not going to be helpful. Hello. Anyway, no, don't do that. Yes. Do you think that people should talk to you too? Do you want to come say hello? Look at there. Hi, Khaleesi. Yes, you're such a good girl. Okay, now we're going to be on my shoulder. That's great.